Evening, guys, and welcome to Mrs. Liz's Tea Time Evening Tea. That's right, it's evening tea. And tonight in the studio, I have Kevin Rivette. He is a local artist in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. Excuse me. I met Kevin a few years back through a friend of a friend. And since then, we've become really close friends. So, with further ado, I'm going to bring Kevin up, and he's going to share a little bit on his story and a few other little surprises that we have along the way. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Liz.
How are you? I'm good.
Well, first of all, Liz, before I want to start, I want to thank you for allowing me to come on the show this evening and share my experience, strength, and hope through the message that we're going to talk about tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you that Liz is an absolutely amazing person. I think what she's doing with these tea times is absolutely exceptional. It gives the opportunity to give a format for people to be able to share their stories. And I have looked at a few of the incredible people that you've had the opportunity to have on your podcasts and your program, Liz. So you know what? I think you're a very special person to do this, and I just want to thank you for doing that. It really means a lot to the viewers. I'm sure it is.
No, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
So tonight, Kevin, I brought you on so you could share a little bit about your story and bring a little bit more awareness, and let's break that stigma on mental health, right? So I know you have an incredible story, and you also have family members that live with mental health. So I'm going to let you share a little bit about that, and then we'll throw in a couple surprises for the viewers out there.
Well, I mean, Liz, I think, I certainly don't want to play the advocate to anything revolving around some of the agencies out there that do advocacy for mental health, okay? Because I think it's important to they are the professionals in this. I mean, I'm just a simple guy that's battled with in my recovery process, and unfortunately, mental illness is an illness. It's exactly what it is. It's something, whether it be diabetes, whether it be cancer, whether it be any of the diseases that are commonly known, whether it be addictions, whether it be alcoholism, or whatever the case may be. Mental illness is an illness, okay? And it's something that I'm very, very proud to say that I do suffer from, and it's something that I'm not afraid to stand behind anymore. The reason I decided to come on the program tonight with you, Liz, is because I think it's a very important discussion that we need to have. More importantly, for men, the stigma out there is that a lot of, and this has been going on thanks to the Bell Let's Talk team and Claire Hughes. That's been going on, and I'll publicly say that because I know the efforts that Claire has done for many, many years with the team on promoting the aspect of mental illness and awareness for that. I think it's extremely important for us men to not be afraid to come out and talk about our stories. I mean, it's as simple as saying to you, it was a point that where it wasn't necessarily manly to be able to talk about some of your feelings, some of your anxieties and stuff, and especially when you're a husband, when you're a father, when you're a grandfather, when you're a colleague at work. It's something that a lot of people hide. They don't want to come forefront to it. They don't want to necessarily address it or talk about it. In my case, that's the way it was for me when I was going through my own bout for many, many years. And even it came to a point where I was basically secluding myself from even being able to share anything with any of my family, any of my friends, even at the time my partner, and even my children. Because for me, my experience was as a dad is that I was the head of the household. I hate to say it like that, maybe a little prejudiced and sexist in saying that, but a lot of men out there right now, including in myself, in a lot of cases, I'm still like that. We're set with a set of values, certainly in larger families, and there's certain things that you don't necessarily want to talk about. And the things that you do want to talk about is very, very difficult for you to be able to express. So, I have an excellent team that I've worked with for the past 4 or 5 years. That's got me on track. I have a very, very supportive circle of friends. My family at work, I can say that very, very openly and honestly. have different I partake to. What's even nice about this too is that there's many associations out there that we're not necessarily aware of in the community that can help people, and really make that difference. Be it Canadian Mental Health. There's certain 12-step programs out there that for people who are suffering from different maybe addictions or mental health or even addictions per se, whether that be alcohol or drugs or so on and so forth. Overeaters, to mention just another one that sometimes is far gone off. Emotions, emotions and so on and so forth. So I think these are things that we need to start talking more about.
Exactly.
Liz, I think for me, when we're talking about this whole situation, I don't want to get into too much to my story, my own personal story, my own personal journey. The only thing I can tell you is that for me, I was a bullied child, and because of the bullying that I went through school, it caused me a lot of anguish and a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I spent from the age of 7 for the next 4 years after my aggressor. Basically, I was in the hospital on traction for a year and a half, and then went four surgeries after. Coming from a family, and I am an adult child, I can say it like that. That suffered through some a little bit of anguish, you could say. I have very loving parents, very loving, a very, very loving and very strong-rooted family, and I'm very proud of that. And if they are listening tonight, I love you very much because you've been my rock in this journey, whether it be musically or whether it be as a family. They've been very supportive of me personally, and I think it's really important when we're having that discussion, when we're talking about this stigma, if I can say it that way. It's important for us to be able to be real about what we're going through. And I think far too often we just standing behind a shadow of a wall or an image that we think that we're less than of for various reasons. For me, after this bullying, the 4 years that going through the surgery, and there's a lot of self-confidence that came into that. Unfortunately, mental illness is something that isn't hereditary in my family. We can't stop that. It is something that is very on the forefront, just like many other illnesses that are passed down through families, and people need to be aware of that.
Exactly.
And that stigma and label that's there, Liz, far too often is not really understood. And I'm proud to say that I did battle with mental illness, and I think this is something that'll be for the rest of my life. But I know for a fact that when I wake up in the morning, I try to be as grateful as I can, depending on my situation. I know I'm a grandfather. I know I'm a partner to a wonderful person that's rejuvenated me in my life. And I'm a very proud grandfather of two wonderful children. Two wonderful grandchildren. I am a father of two children as well. And my partner and her son, and I think it's so important that you move on from there, and you live life to the fullest. And I don't think that many people who suffer from mental illness can feel that that willingness or that ability to be able to get out of themselves and see further than what it is. They stay in that cloud of darkness. And I can share that openly because that cloud of darkness hovered me for a long, long time. And even I still have my days where there's a lot of emotional baggage that's carried back from me that comes up into the forefronts. And unfortunately, it's not something that I have control over. I have the ability to be able to change my focus, change the tapes, if I can say it like that, and put it around that. And that's why for me, music has always been a very important part of that, because for me, it's an out. It's a way to get out of myself and be able to perform and allow my emotions to be able to push through from sometimes the words that I can't necessarily say that are feeling in my heart. And that's why, when we're talking about music and we're talking about the ability to be able to share your gifts, it's like you, Liz, on every, when you do your podcast and when you do your events, it's important for people to have a talk. There's important for people to, to have a channel to be able to do it. I have some very good friends of mine that are actually doing, they're taking care of children that have been abused, or be it sexually or verbally or mentally. There's certain things that they're doing to express on the arts side of things. You know, some people write, some people poetry, some people do different things. For me, my best friend, if I can say it that way, at the times when I felt like I was very, very much alone, was my music. And if I had a song, thanks to God's grace, would give me the opportunity to be able to listen to the words, listen to the song, listen to the ability to be able to connect with that, then for me, when I was able to express it and go out and perform, and I've like I'm sure you've seen Liz for the past several years now in our friendship.
Yeah.
You know, the journey of going through larger stages, such as La Voix, for an example, or for some of the Canadian Idol, Homegrown Cafe, some of the live performances where you have basically a pseudo image of an entertainer. And a great example of that, multi gifted artist, for an example, Robin Williams. When this first came out, people didn't understand how much of a struggle it was for him, but he was one of the best comedians and best entertainers of the world.
Yeah, he hid it
And
behind his comedian.
Absolutely, and he's a fantastic comedian. He's a fantastic. A lot of people didn't know he did a lot of performances. A great gifted actor. He did a lot of film, but a lot of time, Robin Williams did a lot of theatrical stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just an all-around gift. And I think and there's a lot of artists that come out now and talk about their struggles with mental illness. And it's so important that we keep talking about this. And I guess a friend of mine said to me a few years ago when we were talking about it, it's nice about talking about it, but we got to do something about it.
Exactly.
And, and I think that's really, really important when we're talking about this. The more that we discuss this, the more that projects are out of there. And, I just want to say, I know a very, very good program at the Cornwall Community Hospital right now called the We Care program.
Oh,
and
okay.
These are actually people that are helping people who are in need of the supports. We talk about different people who are afflicted, but we forget far too often forget about the caregivers. And,
exactly.
in different situations. So I want to commend them publicly for the wonderful initiative that they are doing, as well as the other mental illness awareness programs that are going around town right now, and helping families who are struggling. Like I've had the chance to do Bereaved Families, as you know, Liz. That's where we originally met.
Yep.
There's different channels out there. There's different outlets out there. There's various, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there's various 12-step programs. There are some community and mental health professionals out there that are offering specialized programs to help people like that. And that is that is something that I think is very, very important for us to put at the forefront, and not to forget to thank and be acknowledging these people. And I'm very proud to see, and I've been following the steps that the government has taken in the Ontario government for the past week now, where now they're starting to really offer more specialized programs which are catered around to people who are suffering from mental illness. And there's special programs. There's actually now supports that are start coming into place from the Ontario government, and hopefully the federal government, which will come out there. And I think now we need to recognize more than ever, and I see this on the workplaces more and more and more, as I'm discussing with professionals or talking with different people. I'm very, very, very aware that we need to keep talking about this. And I think a lot of, not only on the bigger businesses, the larger corporate businesses, but I think it's very important that we realize on the smaller businesses, whether you're a small mom and pop industry, or that might not necessarily can afford the big supports to give to your staff, but it's little actions every single day that you can do to make a difference, to make that value, that make that person who might be struggling with a little bit, to make them feel important. And I think it's we trying to do different little things from time to time. I can get stuck in my head. Let's be honest. I mean, people know me very, very well, and I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very compassionate person when it comes to that, and I don't wear my heart on my sleeve. And I've never been a person to wear my heart on my sleeve. I let my emotions show, and is what I mean by that. So, and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm a pretty straight going guy. If I'm emotional when I'm singing a song, and I let myself feel that emotion, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's where the stigma has to stop. We need to start being accepting more and more and more as this goes on when we're talking about this kind of a subject. And just for me, music has always been a channel for me that I've resorted to. Some people might think it's an escape. You're trying to get away from it. No, for me, it's a connection. It's a connection with my higher power, or my God, which I call God, and He allows me to be able to connect with that emotion and make it happen, and I've been very blessed. People, for some reason, and I've been very blessed since I was 5 years old, since I started singing with family and with different channels that I've had, Liz, to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And some of the songs I do bring emotions up for people, and that's the biggest. It's not the money, it's not the power, it's not the glory that you're sitting on stage and going the wow factor. It's the ability to be able to touch people's lives when you're interpreting a song. And for me, as an artist or as a vocalist, I often say that some of the most beautiful songs are the ones that are sitting on the records or on records that are never being played, or on the charts that are no longer played in the forefront of radio. So
I think that's what I enjoy about you, Kevin, is you bring back the past, right? You bring back the memories that people had years ago,
Well, I think, Liz, it's important that I think we're living in a different time. Let's be honest here. Our core fundamental values have to come back, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in a family, whether it be in a social unit, whether it be in a friendship. I mean, things have to come back to where it used to be. Just common sense.
Yep.
Just like us having a tea right now, right, Liz?
Yep.
Same idea.
Yep. I have my tea. You have your tea.
There you go. But it's important for us to be able to have those little moments between friends and family, and make those little interactions happen. And I think that's where we need to get back. And like you're saying, I mean, music is only a part of it. I think there's core fundamental values that need to come back into the family unit. We just gotta start looking at life in a different lens. Get back to the basics. I know myself. I come from a large French Canadian family, and one of my most cherished memories, and my family who's listening to me will understand that, is every Sunday we would go down, and my grandmother would make a huge pot of homemade soup. As crazy as that sounds, but all the grandchildren would come over on a Sunday during the day, and every one of us would have a bowl with some soda crackers at my grandmother's house. I never forgot that. And these are the kind of things that are fundamentally need to be back onto the plate. And honestly, I really feel that is where I guess we got off track.
Yeah, we got disconnected somehow, right?
We got completely disconnected, and I think living this myself personally, in my experience, we got disconnected with that. And that huge disconnect plays a very, very big part of some of the issues that we're having, even including this mental illness piece that we're talking about right now, that we need to come back to and start reconnecting. We're connecting right now with probably thousands of people out on the internet. And hopefully at the end of this podcast, maybe a lot more than that. But we have the privilege to be able to do that. But I think, Liz, if I had an opportunity right now, I'd walk over to your house and sit beside you and say, "Hey, Liz, let's have tea together. Let's talk." That one-on-one interaction is so important now, and I think that's where we need to bring it back.
So, is there a memory of tea growing up, Kevin?
Oh, memory of tea. My grandmother Irene, Jodway, is one of the most beautiful people that I know in my life. I remember my grandmother having they call her a spot of tea. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying when I say a spot of tea.
Yep.
She used to sit down and have a tea. And even one of the memories I laugh about the most, even my mother to today, who's passing on that generation, she'll have her green tea every time she comes over. My mother, Mary. Be it come over to my house, the first thing we do is put on the tea kettle, and when she comes over, and she'll have her green tea. And I never really understood, but why tea? It's a simpler time. It's the ability to be able to have a couple of friends talk, a simpler life, just a very, very simple situation where you're having tea and you're talking. It's that interaction, that connection. And my grandmother, I remember it as clear as day when we used to go to her. She used to live at a little apartment back over on 4th Street with my grandfather, who's deceased now. But I remember him or her having her tea at the end with her toast, and it was a very simple life for her, and they didn't have to ask for anything more.
It was simple.
It was a very simple time, and I love her for it. I absolutely love her for making me realize or appreciate some of the simpler things in life. even my partner right now makes me realize that many times in my struggles with my emotions as well, that sometimes you just got to make the simplest things last, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here tonight in the coffee cup that she first gave me when we first met, and having a little bit of hot water and lemon tea, but it's these little things that make a difference. I feel that we need to basically connect with. I'm very, very blessed to have come to that realization, unfortunately, during a period of time where I had to basically hit my lowest point, when everybody abandoned me, when everybody didn't care really about Kevin the person.
Yeah.
It was about what's in it for them, and I had to really take a stop and look at life and say, you know what, there's something more to this that I need to discover for me. And I was very, very blessed to have met some people who have very, very strongly influenced me in my life to change my life around. And one very good colleague of mine at work made me realize, and I'm going to call out to a friend, Joanne and Al, who are here tonight. I'm hoping they're looking at the podcast. If not, later on down the road, they're going to see it. But Joanne made me realize in the struggles that there's good people here. And she always gave me the sense, even when I was going through the most difficult time when I was starting my career over, I never forgot the blessing that she gave me, and that was to be able to be human and understand that connection of what everyone might be going through at that particular time. And the thing is, when you have somebody that's struggling for mental illness, the last piece of dignity that they have is hope. That's the last thing that they're thinking about at that time. And whether it be the smallest action that you could do makes a huge difference. Today, I had a colleague of mine at work who had lost her father yesterday. Last week, and a couple of months ago. Let me rephrase that. A couple of months ago, and just came back to work a couple of days ago. And I could see that she was struggling at the workplace. So this morning, I actually went over, grabbed the Danish, and actually walked up and gave it to her. And she said, "Why did you do that, Kevin?" I said, "You know why? Because I've been in your shoes. I understand where you're going through. I've lost a loved one. I've lost a father-in-law. I understand how you feel." And at that time, I had my work family to come around me and give me that support. So I'm just paying it forward. And I think that's important that we do that on a daily basis, is have that personal interaction and not be afraid to do it. That's the whole key that I feel is important.
Yeah, the pay it forward and the ripple effect. We need to keep going. We need to keep enforcing that, right? If somebody does something good for us, we need to pass it along. And it doesn't need to be the same size as what the person gave us. It could be a little smaller, it could be a little bigger, but just keep passing it on, right?
Absolutely. I've been very, very blessed over the past. There's a tragedy that I want to talk about. I see it as a tragedy because it really is a whole change in my whole complete life. At my age is not very easy. I mean, let's be honest. 47, when you're really struggling, you're really thinking that your life is going to go in a completely different direction, and there's a series of events that happen that completely change it and put everything right back into perspective again. You really have to look at, where am I going here for the next part of my life? I'm restarting over my life at 47 or 48, right?
Yeah.
And you have to look at that seriously and never and be grateful. Just be grateful that you have an opportunity to be able to make that difference. If there is an opportunity where I can be there for people, if there's an opportunity where I can perform to help people, I'm there. And it's not because I want to try and make my grandstand or looking at doing that. It's just be there for people. It's as simple as that. And I can say very humbly that my cousin Mark, who's a very, very gifted Elvis Presley impersonator in the community, made me realize that probably about 5 years ago, when we were doing some different things. So I had to sit back and really take a look at what he was doing and how the interaction with people was. And he had a gift, and I so commend him for that gift, because it made me aware of something that, far too often we forget about, is being human. Having that interaction with people and being able to touch people like that. I think it's really important,
So, Kevin, since I did tell the viewers that there was a surprise coming, would this be a good time for that surprise?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I would like to hear some beautiful music come from you. Share.
I want to hear some beautiful music.
I want some beautiful music. maybe a song
Okay.
that means a lot to you. Maybe a song that keeps you going.
Well, I mean, there's a, there's very very different songs, Catherine, or Catherine's laughing at me as I'm saying this. Um, but there's different songs that I like doing. I guess it depends on your emotion. You just got to have a little bit of fun with what you try and do, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the song that I always remembered was a song that actually that was played for when my daughter was given birth, and it's a song that I thought about it, and I never thought I would be able to perform it until actually I had a friend of mine tell me about a beautiful piano arrangement that was made for it, and I started singing it a couple of times, and I was able to really get into it, and even one day I hope to record it again in a studio setting. If I could ever get the rights to be able to do it, like I did a few years back with Lionel Richie on a song "Goodbye" at Cornwall Community Hospital, but it certainly would be a nice touch. So I'm going to send this out to you. I want to send this out to my daughter or my son that might be looking tonight. Um, but this is a beautiful song that I think everybody can relate to, and it's basically a song that well, I'll just do it. How's that?
There you
And I'll
go.
let you
I
guys
like
listen.
that.
I need a few minutes, Liz, just to cue it up here. So give me 2 seconds.
Oh, that's okay. So if anybody is watching, the viewers tonight, for all of you that are watching, I do see your comments coming in your messages. We both say hi back. We have a few ones that said hi, guys, Kevin and that.
Hey guys.
Robin Dufon says hi. Penny Brown says hi. Deb says hi. And Lorenzo says hi. And there's a few other comments out there. So if anybody would like to know more about Kevin, you can check him out on his Facebook page, or you can give him a call at 613-330-1059. I believe I have the right number, right?
That's correct.
And
That's correct.
we're going to let him do his magic because this man can sing.
Well, thanks, Liz. I appreciate it.
Well, you're a true angel for me because when I'm having a hard day and my mental illness kicks in, I turn to your music. So.
Well, thanks, Liz. And here's a song that I'm going to dedicate to you and to many others out there tonight, okay?
Thank you.
Every night in my dreams, I see you and I feel you. That is how I know you go on. And far across the distance, spaces between us, you have gone to show you go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that my heart does go on. Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. And love can touch us one time and last for a lifetime, and never let go till we're gone. Love was when I loved you, when true time I held you. In my life will always go You're here. There's nothing I feel, and I know that my heart will go on. We'll stay forever this way, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and
Thank you, Kevin. That was beautiful.
Thank
I
you
want
very
to
much.
throw another one in there because I know that you have it in you. So I would like to get you to sing a French song for any of the French listeners that are out there.
C'est vrai, hein? Faut pas se le cacher, hein? Je vais le dire juste en français. À mes amis francophones, faut pas se le cacher. Ce soir, j'ai parlé en anglais plutôt pour discuter de plusieurs aspects au niveau de la santé mentale. Pour résumer un peu de ce que j'essayais de dire effectivement, c'est de ne pas jamais oublier qu'il y a une voix derrière le stigme de la santé mentale. Pour moi, j'ai partagé un peu mon expérience, plutôt un volet anglophone. Mais quand même, je veux que vous sachiez que n'importe quel petit acte que vous faites ou n'importe quel petit pas que vous donnez pour enlever la douleur ou si vous voulez si je peux dire la noirceur de cette maladie-là pour une personne qui souffre comme moi de ça, c'est vraiment de l'encadrer, de l'aimer tel qu'il est ou qu'elle est. Et de toujours tenter d'être une meilleure personne avec eux, puis de comprendre que vraiment, la santé mentale est une maladie. C'est vraiment comme le cancer, comme n'importe quelle autre maladie que nous connaissons aujourd'hui. C'est important que nous oublions pas ceci. Et je vous encourage fortement de continuer le beau travail que vous faites ici dans la communauté pour faire la promotion, pour aider ceux et celles qui souffrent de cette maladie-là et de continuer d'être des porte-paroles pour leur aider à mieux être bien dans leur peau, bien au niveau d'eux-mêmes, puis aussi, surtout, le bien-être de la personne au niveau de la santé mentale aussi. So you want me to sing a French song?
Yes, I would love to hear a French song.
Okay, hold on a second, Liz, because you're getting me a little bit of a little bit.
There's a Patrick Normand song that you sing that I love.
Patrick Normand song that I sing. Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about. Hold on. Are you talking about Quand on est en amour?
I think it's that one.
Okay. All right, just a moment. Give me a second, Liz, and I'll take it. So I want to thank Mr. Patrick Normand himself if he's listening. I don't know if him or his girlfriend's listening tonight, but Monsieur Normand, je voulais te remercier infiniment pour tellement un beau cadeau que vous nous avez apporté avec cette chanson-là. J'espère que je vais l'interpréter, pas de la façon dont vous allez le faire. Il n'y a pas personne d'autre qui peut l'interpréter comme vous. Mais si je peux quand même donner mon petit chapeau à ça, si vous voulez, je vais essayer de mon mieux pour le faire. Fait que, okay, give me a second, Liz. I'm just going to cue this up.
So any of the viewers that are watching, what I'm getting Kevin to do tonight is share his experience and his guidance and through music, to bring awareness to mental health. We need to break the stigma by talking and sharing our stories. So Kevin tonight is here sharing and bringing awareness to mental health and how we can break the stigma. And for him, it was through music. So that is why I'm getting Kevin to sing a few songs. And I want to bring in the French as well, because I don't want everyone to believe that it's only the English that suffer mental health. The French do as well.
No.
All languages, all the people around the world suffer from this. And we need to start bringing awareness and breaking that stigma. So that is why I'm asking Kevin to sing a song in French and to speak as well in French to all of the viewers tonight.
I just want to say, Liz, to you, and before I start this song, I want to cue up the importance of having the discussion in our schools. I think, if I can just say this quickly, I think it's so important now more than ever because of the strikes that are going on intermediately with these students and with the teachers and so on and so forth. A lot of the parents are going to be having their children at home. The children are going to want to necessarily do different things, and there's a huge effort that's being undergone that I've overheard about that they're trying to bring back into the community to get the support of teenagers. And I'm really praying that this is going to happen. We need the community leaders to come together to get this project off the ground. We need schools to be able to open their hearts and the trustees and the school teachers to give it a push to help the children who are suffering from mental illness and addictions and mental health, and start talking about it in schools. Have proper programs in schools and helping these people. Be it initiatives or be it 12-step programs or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. But we need to start having this discussion about this and giving the children this sense of hope that they need, that far too often in social media is that interaction that we were talking about a little bit earlier is not there anymore. Exactly. So I think it's really important for us to be able to relook at that again, Liz, and really be aware of it and start talking about it. Like I said a while ago, it's nice to talk about it, but let's put some action to it.
Exactly.
And I think we're at the point right now before we, and now more than ever, teen suicide rates are much more higher. Younger families are being very, very much affected by this. There's got to be some discussion that's discussed around this, and I encourage anybody that's out there that really want to have that discussion out there. It's important to have that discussion, and I personally want to thank. And one thing that we far too often forget to thank is the people who are directly involved with the children's mental health piece as well. There's counselors out there, there's programs out there, that are still out in the community that are helping these kids out. And I think these counselors that are putting in dedication and time. And far too often, let's be honest, they're not getting the accreditations that they do.
Exactly.
Deserve,
yeah.
Recognition that they do deserve. So publicly, I just want to take a couple of minutes and thank a few people that have helped me in my struggle with this subject in my own personal journey with my family. I want to thank them very much for that as well. So avec ça, comme je vous dis, mes amis, ceux et celles qui en français, comme je vous dis, c'est vraiment d'avoir l'importance de parler aussi à nos ados. C'est très important qu'on parle de la santé mentale à nos adolescents. Je demande l'encouragement de non seulement les paroisses, non seulement les écoles, peu importe que ça soit séparé ou catholique ou peu importe, public. C'est très important qu'on se met en arrière des efforts donc pour la promotion de la santé mentale ici dans la région ou dans la communauté. Fait que je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de programmes qui se sont lancés dans la communauté. Tout dernièrement, j'en connais un parmi ceux qui tentent de pousser de l'avant pour aider à ces ados-là. Et j'espère qu'on va laisser la politique et peut-être certaines barèmes et un peu du stigma à côté et vraiment de revenir à nos anciennes valeurs pour aider ceux et celles qui en ont besoin. C'est le temps que peut-être qu'on regarde les enfants redeviennent un plus gros connect avec peut-être Dieu ou votre croyance que vous voulez. Les valeurs familiales devraient se remettre en place encore une fois, d'après moi. Et je pense que c'est important qu'on en parle. Et c'est bien beau d'en parler, mais il faut vraiment agir maintenant. On est passé aux discussions, puis c'est le temps qu'on se mette à l'action maintenant, puis qu'on pousse de l'avant. Fait que, effectivement, c'est ça que je vous dis. Puis avec cette chanson-là, on se comprend très bien. Monsieur Normand, il l'a très bien dit avec la chanson. Fait que je l'ai dédié cette chanson-là à Liz. So Liz, I'm going to send that out to you, my dear friend. And again, it's probably we're going to be wrapping up this podcast very, very soon, Liz. I just want to thank you again, bottom of my heart, for all the things that you do in our community. For really being a friend. When I say a friend, I mean a friend at the worst time and the best times. You were there as the best times. Certain events happened, and maybe pulled us away from our friendship for a little while I was recuperating, and we were both going through a certain period of our time where we needed to refocus on ourselves. But I've never forgotten, Liz, that the friendship that you've allowed not only me but a lot of your people that read your book. If you folks have never read a book, you need to read these two books. Absolutely need to read these two wonderful novels that Liz has created with a bunch of wonderful people. Read it. There's some wonderful stories in there. There's experience, strength, and hope that's in those stories, and these people need to be spoken to as well, spoken of as well. So, Liz, I just want to congratulate you and your entire team for the both books. Not one, two books out now.
3.
3.
Third
Okay,
one's coming out in April.
All right, third one's coming out in April. I know the 2 right now, so the third is coming out soon.
Yes.
But congratulations on the efforts, and just keep the wonderful magic going, Liz, in these podcasts, in the wonderful things that you do for this community. And you know what, Liz, just to be yourself. There's not very many people like you in this world, and I want you to know that you're a very special person to do stuff like this. And as a friend, I can tell you, I love you to pieces. Thanks, Liz, for everything that you do.
Thank you so much. You're going to make me cry.
That's good.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome, dear. Give me a second. Let's see if we can cue this up.
Si tu crois que l'amour t'a laissé tomber une autre fois, et tu vois que tout ton univers s'écroule autour de toi, n'oublie pas, vient toujours le soleil après les jours de pluie. Ouvre grand ton cœur, ne cherche pas ailleurs, écoute ce qu'il te dit. Ne laissez pas passer la chance d'être aimé. Le cœur devient moins lourd quand on est en amour. Si un jour tu sens que dans ta vie plus rien ne t'appartient, abandonne, tu rêves dans la nuit apaisant ton chagrin. Souviens-toi qu'il y a toujours quelqu'un qui n'attend que ta main. Ouvre grand ton cœur, ne cherche pas ailleurs, écoute ce qu'il te dit. Ne laisse pas passer la chance d'être aimé. Le cœur devient moins lourd quand on est en amour. Mais la vie, parfois nous fait l'esclave de nos souvenirs. Entre nous, qu'importe le passé, il y a de l'avenir. Et c'est pourquoi tu te dois de remettre l'amour dans ta vie. Ouvre grand ton cœur, ne cherche pas ailleurs, écoute ce qu'il te dit. If anybody's out there and they want to sing with me, go ahead. Ne laissez pas passer la chance d'être aimé. Le cœur devient moins lourd quand on est en amour. Ne laissez pas passer la chance d'être aimé. Le cœur devient moins lourd quand on est en amour. Ne laissez pas passer la chance d'être aimé. Le cœur devient moins lourd quand on est en amour.
Thank you, Kevin. That's like one of my most favorite famous songs that you sing. I have many favorite songs.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So as Kevin said, we are going to wrap this up, but excuse me, we're not done yet. We're going to have Kevin come back again on another show, and we're going to have him sing some more. And I have a goal to have all of my guests who have been on previous shows come as one, so we can show the different flavors and the different blends of tea that have been connected through Miss Liz's Tea Times. You each bring a different flavor and a different special meaning to my life and to many others in the community and in their communities as well. So I want to bring yous all back as a reunion show. I'm working on something, putting a little bit of Miss Liz's touch on it, but I will have some kind of special date set up, and I will get a hold of all of you guys. So tonight, Kevin shared why mental illness and mental health needs to be spoken. We need to stop just talking. We need to start walking. We need to start making changes. And the only way we can change is by opening up and standing on who we are. Stop living in the stigma. Stop living in the shame. We are who we are. We all have our unique light that is needed in the world. Whether we live with mental health or not, we need to start standing on who we are. And
Liz, I just want to interrupt you just for 1 minute. There's one thing that I did forget that I think is really important that we talk about, okay? And I want to bring this out to all the women that are out there, partners of people like myself who have had mental illness issues and so on and so forth, okay? I think the one thing that I want to leave everybody with is the importance of always never forgetting that behind the mental illness, there is a human aspect of this. There is a person that's still there, okay? And whether that person is having a bad day or whether that person is just in that emotion for that moment, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a label on that person. You know, look at the person's heart, look at the person where they've been, look at the person as to why you fell in love with that person. And really stick to those moments that are the most difficult for that person to pass through. Because the last thing that they need to hear is negativity. The last thing they need to hear is that there's no connection there. There's no hope. There's no possibility. So if I could say that out there to not only the men and women in both cases, I think it's really important that you connect with that person. Look beyond, like you're looking at the person who's afflicted with, Alzheimer's, for an example. Cancer or diabetes or so on and so forth. Look beyond those things. It's something that I can't stress enough out of my own personal experience. I think it's extremely important that we don't forget that there's a human being behind that stigma. And let's not ever forget that person is still a person. And I think that's really, really important that we never seem to forget on that.
That's awesome, Kevin. We need to make sure that people understand there is still a person in there. Whether you're being diagnosed with something with depression, bipolar, anxiety, there is still a person in that body, and we need to start having more compassion for one another and just start walking. Stop the talking and just start walking and make a difference.
So Liz, while we're connecting here in the last couple of minutes of the show here, is this the next surprise? Can I put out the next surprise? Because I overheard through the grapevines that you were actually going to practice a song that we're going to be able to do in that reunion show that's coming up, or we're talking about that right now.
Me and you singing?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm throwing it up.
I never know. Miss Liz never knows where she's going, right? So.
Well, I don't know. I heard that you're writing a song, so I mean, I heard that you wrote a song. So I'm just wondering, maybe Miss Liz has to start putting her pen and paper on thing, and I'm looking for possibilities, something later on down the road. So I'm throwing that out there to you, Liz. Are you willing to maybe write some songs, or maybe get your viewers to write some lyrics out there? You never know. We might
never know.
Might be a great opportunity for people to share something.
You never know, and I might just go to that mic. I have written a song, and I did sing it for Sacred Hearts last year for their summit. So, yeah, you never know where I'm going. I don't even know sometimes where I'm going. So, I just follow the journey that I'm being put on, and that's where I go. So, yeah, doors open for me all the time.
And we love you for it, Liz.
Yeah, I'm different, and you just never know where I'm going. So,
and we love you just the way you are, Liz. So thank you so much for what you do for us, and we really appreciate it, and for the friendship that you've given me. Like I said, it's a blessing. It truly is, Liz. Thank you so much for inviting me tonight. Thank you for all the viewers who are actually giving me the opportunity to voice this. I'm one person in this discussion. There's many out there, and I encourage you to put your comments back to Liz and have a talk about it, openly about it. And I thank you very much for allowing me the privilege to be able to share with you my experience and my strength and my hope.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for coming on my platform. I really appreciate it. And we're not done yet. We're going to get back together for another tea time. So I'm going to say that's enough for tonight, because I don't want to let all of the good stuff in one tea time. I want to have another tea time with Kevin. So tonight's tea that I'm drinking is a chai tea from Steep Tea. And I want everyone to understand that I became a consultant for Steep Tea because they support children's health, mental health. And their donations, some of their proceeds goes to children's mental health. And I'm a big advocate on mental health. So that is why I became a consultant for Steep Tea. So anybody who would like to buy any tea or anything, my link is on my page. And I will be drinking different teas for each tea time from Steep Tea. So check it out. No pressure, but if you want to drink what Miss Liz is drinking, then get on board and get some. I do have an amazing lineup coming up. On the 8th, I have Deborah Billard. She's going to be speaking about the experience through the skin experience, or beauty in the skin or something. What she does is she takes pictures of nude people and brings their beauty to light and makes them understand that their skin is beautiful. So she'll be on the 8th. And then I have Angie Seekler somewhere from Ottawa. She is a mother agent scouting for actors and that. And I do believe that she has signed Ryan Gosling as well. Somebody told me from a grapevine. So I have her coming on. So that'll be that week. And then the following week, I have two ladies from out west that will be on. One who has created her own clothing line that is called Girl Pro Linen, a vinyl, and You Matter. And she comes up with unique sayings for mental health to stay strong. And another lady who has started a foundation that helps people find grants and funding to prevent homelessness and that. So I do reach and knock on doors from everywhere, not only Cornwall, but all over, because I believe that by helping other communities, they come to us as well, into our communities. So if they have an amazing foundation or organization, we can bring it to Cornwall. So we can join up and we can pair, and that's how we're going to change the world, and make a difference one cup of tea at a time. So thank you all for joining me tonight. And thank you, Kevin, again for an amazing night. And we will see you on March 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, guys.
God bless everybody. Thank you for there.